This is the first in a series of videos to illustrate how to put together a spending plan that deals with school loans. To create all four videos, a fictional college graduate has been invented with a bachelor's degree in business. Since my bachelor's degree was in business, I am working on the same premise. It's a scenario with which I am at least a little familiar. Our student just graduated and has accepted a job in a Midwest city as an entry-level accountant starting on August 1st. From his graduation in early June until reporting for work, he is living at home. He is planning for how to deal with his student loans and some other debts that he has accumulated. He has been fairly frugal during his college career and has not accumulated a lot of debt. His federal student loan is pretty much at the average for new graduates, $29,800. He has some costs already on a Visa card and will need to add some more when he sets up his apartment in his new hometown. He has investigated the costs of living in his new hometown and has put together what he thinks it will cost him to live. He also knows what his new salary will be and has a good idea of what will be taken out for taxes. With this information, he is ready to do his first pass at putting together a monthly spending plan. This first video will walk through that process. Subsequent videos will show how he modifies his original spending plan to bring it into balance and how to work his plan to get his debt paid off as quickly as possible. Ultimately, he would like to work for a nonprofit humanitarian agency helping people in depressed countries to get healthy food and clean water. He knows with his school debt, he can't currently even think of taking the kind of salary that most humanitarian agencies or relief and development ministries can afford to pay. As long as he has the debts he has accumulated, he will need to work in a well-paying job to get those debts paid off. So let's look over his shoulder as he fills out his monthly estimated budget form. The monthly estimated budget form, as shown on your screen, was created to categorize income and expense in a way that allows someone to see where money is coming in and where money is going out. This form is being filled out to show a balanced spending plan as of December 1. Our graduate understands that his first payment on his federal student loan is not due until December. During the time between when he starts his new job in August and when the first payment is due, he intends to take the money that would have gone to student loan payment and put it in the bank to create a basic emergency fund. Many financial teachers recommend that one of the first steps in creating a manageable spending plan is to have some money in the bank as an emergency fund. The typical basic emergency fund amount would be $1,000. Further on, it's a good idea to push that basic amount up to 6 months of net income. When we get to that monthly net income number, I will be sure to point it out. Using that net income number, a reasonable estimate for a fully funded emergency fund can be generated. For the sake of being able to fit into what is being illustrated on one screen, some of the form is off the screen below and will be shown when needed. The first number to put into the monthly estimated budget form is the monthly income. Our graduate was offered the average entry-level salary for a newly graduated accounting major. That is $35,170 or $2,930.80 per month. For the sake of simplicity, the monthly estimated budget form tries to avoid dealing with pennies. On that basis, the monthly salary number entered into the form is $2,931. On the form in front of you, there are workbook cells that have a green background. Those cells have been pre-programmed to add up numbers that would be contained in their category total. And before we go any further, you should know that a blank copy of this Excel form with the formulas is available for download on the SayNoToCollegeDebt.com website. It is titled monthlyestimatedbudget.xlxs. There is also a PDF copy that can be used to do this process manually. It is titled Monthly Estimated Budget.pdf. Doing the process manually will require you to do all the addition and subtraction yourself. Please be careful and double-check your work. Feel free to use either of the forms. The first green box next to the total gross income per month adds the salary number, interest number, dividends number, and other numbers under gross income per month. Since our graduate has very little in the bank, no stock on which to earn dividends, and no other income that he can think of, the salary is the only number being added, and the total gross income per month is $2,931. In the process being explained here, all costs are actually broken into two groups. The second group is the total living expenses and consists of everything going out except giving and taxes taken out of paychecks. As stated in the Say No to College Debt book, giving is actually a demonstration of trust in God to provide for your needs, and the amount to give should not be available for everyday living expenses. Taxes taken out of paychecks are also not available for daily living expenses. On that basis, both are subtracted from gross income to arrive at net spendable income. Net spendable income is what is left out of the paycheck to live on. To fill in the tithe giving box, our college graduate has always been in the habit of throwing a $5 or $10 bill into the offering plate when he went to church every Sunday. Now that he has a good paying job, he is figuring on $20 bills instead. That would average out to $86.67 per month. He is entering $87. In his planning process, he talked with his new company's payroll department. They told him what will be taken out from his regular paycheck for federal income tax, state income tax, FICA, and Medicare tax. The monthly total for that is in the box next to tax - Fed State FICA, and it is $708. The green box on the line below already has the formula to subtract categories 1 and 2 from the gross income per month. It shows a net spendable income of $2,136. This is the number that needs to be used when calculating an amount for a fully funded emergency fund. $2,136 times 6 months is $12,816. Somewhere down the line, our college graduate should build his emergency fund up to over $12,000. By the time he even gets close, he will probably have increased his income, and the number will need to be even higher. But judicious use of pay increases in the elimination of all the money owed when he starts his repayment plan should make that process doable. At this point, our new graduate scrolls his form down a little bit so he can see more boxes to fill in. Starting with housing, he has decided that he wants a 2-bedroom apartment. He found a 2-bedroom apartment in his new hometown for $868 a month. He also determined that renter's insurance would be $14 a month, and the average electricity for a small apartment should be $60 a month. He enters those numbers onto the form. He also needs to include his cell phone plan, which is $35 a month, and a little bit of money for minor maintenance of things that won't be covered by the owner of the apartments. For that, he's putting $5. That would include things like replacement light bulbs, an extension cord if needed, or other minor items. The green box to the right of total housing has a formula and calculates the total amount of housing costs at $982 per month. Our new graduate also spoke to his mother about the costs of food. To keep his spending down, he is planning on eating in most of the time. His mom has taught him how to do basic cooking, how to clean up after cooking, and how to safely store food and leftovers. Those skills are invaluable when living in your own place. He and his mom are hoping he will be able to get by on $125 a month for groceries. Scrolling down a little more on the form, our graduate was very frugal at college and avoided the costs of having a car on campus. However, the city in which he is going to be living does not have a great transit system. He knows he needs to buy a car. He has looked at the availability of automobiles and figures he can get a reasonably functional vehicle for about $5,000. With 10% down, his payments would be $102 per month. Gas for his commute and maybe some weekend travel is estimated at $60 a month. He expects insurance will be $42 a month, registration should be $8 a month, and he is hoping that his used car will keep running on only about $50 a month for maintenance. He may not spend that every single month, but he does need to plan on having it available when things break down, and they will. Scrolling down the monthly estimated budget form, there is a category for insurance. His new job has excellent benefits, which include a life insurance policy equal to his annual salary and full medical coverage with small copays. As a result, he doesn't need to spend any money on insurance premiums. On the other hand, notice there is a budget for renter's insurance premiums in the housing category. And there is a budget for car insurance premiums in the automobile category, but they do not go here. On his first pass through debts, he has monthly minimum credit card payments of $62 and monthly loan payments of $498. These will be explained more in the debt list video. The one thing to note here is that our graduate intends to go for the 10-year schedule to pay off his student loan. He wants to get that debt paid off and to get working for a nonprofit agency. That payment amount is included in loans and notes. Jumping back to the top of the monthly estimated budget form, there are spaces for various types of entertainment and recreation. Our graduate figures he is going to eat at least one meal out every week. He's budgeting around $50 a week or $200 a month for that. He also plans on taking a cruise when he gets to the point where he will have some vacation time on his new job. He's budgeting $200 a month to set aside for that. Once again, the green box adds those up and shows that he's planning on spending $400 a month on entertainment and recreation. Since basic cable and internet comes with his apartment, he doesn't need to put that onto the spending plan. On the debt list video, you will see that he is buying new clothes for his new work environment using his Visa card. On that basis, his ongoing monthly clothing budget is rather low at $40 per month. He is expecting to cover necessary laundry costs or dry cleaning with that. He also figures on replacing socks and other foundation items as they wear out. Even though our graduate intends to put a significant amount into his emergency fund before his federal student loan payments start, he wants to continue to build up his savings. For starters, he intends to automatically put $10 per paycheck into a savings account. Since he will get paid every 2 weeks, this comes to about $21 a month. Our graduate also needs to be setting money aside to cover his medical copays. He is healthy and has kept up his dental work, so he is hoping he will be able to get by with a small amount of medical expenses. He enters $10 a month into the medical expense category. He scrolls down the form on his screen and figures he can get by with a $15 haircut once a month, $10 a month for gifts, and under $500 a year, which is $40 per month, for Christmas gifts. He doesn't have a big family and won't need to be extravagant. The green box totals miscellaneous at $65 a month. Since his company offers a match for a 401k, he is going to put 3% of his salary into his 401k. That comes to $88 a month. Since he is done with school and has no children or other dependents, the school and child care category is not necessary for him and is left entirely blank. The green box next to total living expenses adds up categories 3 through 14 and shows $2,553. Keep in mind that categories 1 and 2 were already deducted from gross income. Our graduate scrolls down a little more and is somewhat crestfallen as his first pass at a spending plan shows him overspending by $417 a month. That just isn't going to work. The next video in this series, the budget analysis form, will show how our new graduate takes the numbers that were developed from his investigation and brings his spending plan into balance. There are things that he will be able to do.